Hello and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. It's more like nighttime busters, but we're busting through the nighttime into the dawn. It will be daylight soon enough. It's actually 4:36 a.m. Central Time, but we daylight savings time manufactured time. And so they're saying, according to the clock, it's 5:36. But it's only 4:36. We want to be like Arizona and get rid of stinking rot in daylight savings time. The Kentucky, got to make sure I pour it in the right glass. The Kentucky Gold blended whiskey, blended and bottled in Kentucky by Quality Control Distilling Company, is a Heaven Hill brand. Quality Control Distilling is one of those alias brand, names, not a real distillery. It's just an alias name. There's a lot of glare, but there's the barrel hanging with the Kentucky Gold pouring out. I think I've seen the big glass bottles around, the 750, the regular size. This is a small plastic, two plastic whiskeys today. Nothing like the sound of plastic. But I've seen those around, didn't buy them. I think there's a Kentucky Gold straight bourbon whiskey, if I'm not mistaken, in a bottle and bond. I'd have to check the Heaven product list. They do have it on the product specifications, but they don't have it listed as part of their lineup. A lot of these companies are doing that now. Their premier flagship brands, they'll list them. The rest, they pretend like they don't even, they pretend like they don't even make them. Beam Suntory is notorious with that now. So it's a nice looking label, I suppose. It's kind of simple, just looks like it's from 1992. Came out in 92. Looks like it's got the drop shadow lettering, gold, red, white with the sky and all. But I guess if it was really 92, it'd be like teal and purple, huh? Choice blended whiskey. Now a distinctive blend. I've been joking about this brand. I bought it in Baton Rouge, by the way, on Louisiana Highway 30. Hold on a second. Southbound, right off the south of Interstate 10. Hold on. So you may see it around, but I said if this is the gold, I'd hate to see the silver or the bronze. This is Kentucky Gold. Got a white cap. Hate to see the silver or the bronze. All right, here's the Gran Legacy. It's such a legendary product, ain't it? I think it was introduced in 2006 AD, Anno Domini 2006. The Crown, for whatever bizarre reason. Maybe they didn't realize the United States had seceded from Great Britain and made their own country. They might be under the impression that we're still a kingdom or a colony, but there's a copper pot still, which this is almost assuredly not produced in, probably produced in column still. And it has obviously coloring. It's very dark, but it is aged at least 4 years. It still wouldn't be that dark. It's aged at least 4 years. Why do we know that? Because it doesn't have an age statement. And what is the law? The law is that if a whiskey has no age statement, it has to be a minimum of 4 years and up. Doesn't have to be a new oak barrel, but an oak barrel. And I'm sure these have been well used, but blended whiskey with natural flavors. That's a mostly meaningless statement because most American blended whiskey has natural flavors, okay? It's allowed. Yeah, natural meaning has to come from nature, not some chemicals. And usually, from what I was reading on Tax and Trade Bureau website, it tends to be blending sherry. But then I saw that Triple Crown uses oak extract. So there's some rules, like it can have up to 2% blending sherry. So 2% of the volume could be sherry, blending sherry. You say, well, that's not a pure whiskey. No, but it is legally a whiskey according to the United States government. And the law is what counts when you're talking about the law, right? I had one guy, he says, I don't do reviews. Okay. I just hang out and talk like at a bar. And I said, okay. He was telling me one time, well, that's not a true whiskey. I was intrigued by that. Didn't understand what he meant. What do you mean not a true whiskey? Well, in his mind, if it's blended, it's not a true whiskey. Now, it may not be good. That's opinion. See, I agree. They're not that great. But his mind is not the law. So it's really irrelevant to the reality. He also told me that Coors Brewing Company had a racist past. It was a racist company. I said, never heard that. Could you provide some documentation to that effect? And his response was, it's common knowledge, look it up. Which, in the way I see it, that's not citing a source. Telling somebody it's common knowledge, look it up. It's the Archie Bunker explanation. Remember on the old All in the Family, he would make outrageous claims and then people would say, where do you get these ideas? Or what are you talking about? And he would say, it's, everybody knows it, look it up. Well, it's incumbent upon the person making the claim to provide the source, not make an outrageous claim and tell people go look it up. Carl Rove. Oh, hey, Carl. Got a neoconservative here right now, or a warmonger. Kiss is a superior 90s rock band to Nirvana. Long live Pilsner Urquell. Okay. Looks like somebody's had a very exciting Friday night. Are you going to the Tulane football game? Response. I'm not going to sit here and text y'all. I'll just ignore the rest until I get off of here, I promise. All right. Okay. So the appearance is not as different as I thought. Now, the Gran Legacy is darker, but to be mostly honest, the Kentucky Gold is a little more amber than I thought. Okay. So I don't think it's going to throw me off too much. I should have had that phone on silence, so when I text, it won't be going, doot, doot, doot. Death to Lagunitas, blasphemous heresy of a Newcastle brown ale. Yeah, there's a lot of people don't like that. Lagunitas, Newcastle. I liked it a lot, but it's not Newcastle brown ale. It's a California Cool. It's California Cool brown ale, and they should change it to Newcastle Classic over here, and they could call it, what would you call it? Lagunitas Newcastle style. I don't know what you call it, but it's not Newcastle brown. I never did any war crimes. Iraq was about bringing liberating democracy and freedom, even if we had to kill every last one of them. Oh, well, if you use that logic, I have to, Carl, I want to retract my statements. Sometimes you gotta burn down the barn. Sometimes you have to burn down the barn to get the rats out, right? You have to destroy the barn to save it. And the United States have been doing a lot of saving since 1898. And so I even am willing to learn about the truth about democracy and regime change and spreading freedom around the world and being a great empire and being an imperialist and aggression. And I think a good name for that policy would be peace through war. You can call it the Peace Through War program. And I think the United States has been pursuing that since at least 1917, the Peace Through War program. That was very interesting, Peace Through War. All right, well, on with the show. That was a sarcasm, originally a George Carlin bit. Oh, okay, well, hey, at least he's giving credit for the, because I steal all kind of stuff and I often don't give credit, but a lot of people will realize what I'm saying. Okay. There's just not enough time, Michael. There just wasn't enough time, Michael. Sorry. We'll get there, Pop. All right. This smells fairly bland and grain alcohol and not alcohol and not a whole lot of anything else. Oh, yeah, a little sourdough bread. And that would mean probably sour mash, which is making me think something. All right, let's go over here, though. I got to close my eyes because it is enough of a shade difference, tint, the difference in the color that I could throw. I don't want to taint. I don't want to taint the tint. I don't want to taint the review, the examination, the challenge. I like to do these echo it. This one has a little bit of that as well. That, I don't know how you describe it. It's like cornbread and a little sourdough bagel. Maybe both of these are using sour mash straight bourbon for their 20%. Assuming that the Gran Legacy is 20% straight bourbon. I don't know what it is. Could be 30, but you would doubt it. I highly doubt it. What's the minimum? Well, to be an American blended whiskey, it has to be at least 20% straight bourbon whiskey. It can be higher. All right. Seagram 7 Crown is 25% straight whiskey of, it doesn't say straight bourbon, just say straight whiskey of some sort. Beams 8 Star used to be, changed it. The King Square is 27.5% straight whiskey, 27.5%. If it's lower than 20, then it's a spirit whiskey. They call it spirit whiskey. Like Southern Comfort, those varieties of Southern Comfort are made with spirit whiskey. You can even buy spirit whiskey at the store in a fancy bottle for like $20-something from Texas. I think it was Rebecca Creek. I was like, why would somebody pay all this money? Well, yeah, it's a pretty bottle, but it's like 81% grain alcohol, unaged, and only 19% straight whiskey. You say, because it's from Texas. Okay. But then some people buy moonshine, which is 100% grain alcohol, clear, unaged. And they say, yeah, I bought some moonshine. I said, well, okay, but why are you paying all this money? Because I don't know. I don't know anything. People play games, friend. They lie, and we must be merciful for those who lie, those nabobs. I hate them. I do hate them. Okay. All right. Okay. This one has that strange honeydew melon thing. After they breathe. And what do we know about the strange honeydew melon thing? Well, we know that's a Heaven Hill trait. So Heaven Hill is not using the best. Watch the website. Watch the recording that whiskey.com did when they toured Heaven Hill Distillery. Very fascinating video. But they were interviewing the guy, and the German guy was like, "What do you do when the whiskey doesn't come out quite correctly?" And the guy says, "Well, we make our blended whiskey out of it." And he bust out laughing. I said, "Well, at least they're admitting it, that if it's because sometimes the batch doesn't come out right or something, be off. They're not going to waste it. Oh, they're not going to waste it. They make blended whiskey with it, and they sell it for these cut rate prices. Now, people call it rot gut. Oh, well, look, it's no more dangerous to drink than the high quality whiskey. It's just inferior in flavor, and it has off characteristics. It's not going to hurt you. Any whiskey will hurt you. It could be $250 bottle. Johnny Walker Blue Label is going to hurt you if you drink too much. Now, I have to remember that the Gran Legacy has a candy sweetness to it. It's like caramel candy. Yeah. Like whiskey, 80 proof caramel candy. And I'm not joking, and I'm not trying to be flipped. And I think this is the Gran Legacy by virtue of that. That threw me off last time, but I didn't have enough practice with it. And with that huge bottle, I got a lot of practicing to do. Look, I don't know about you, but when I'm drinking whiskey, which is really only for these videos, I never drink it like on its own. You know what I'm saying? Like just to drink it. Like you're saying, well, you don't drink it for enjoyment like a normal person. People get home from work and have some whiskey and ice or whiskey and coke. No, honestly, I don't. I never do. If I'm making a video, that's the only time I'm drinking it. So I'm not really a whiskey drinker. You say, but you make videos all the time. In theory, I'm not a whiskey drinker. In practice, I am. You see the difference? Theoretics versus practicality. All right. Well, I'm going to call it, almost looked, I'm going to call it, I think this is the Gran Legacy, and I think it's a little better, even though it costs more, but I think it's better. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Heck. It's the Kentucky Gold. Well, got it wrong again. I know you as the viewer might say, who cares if you get it wrong? That's just cheap blended whiskey. Everybody knows what that is. No one even cares about it. No one even cares that you taste challenge it. There's no point to it. It's just cheap, bottom shelf. Heaven Hill, Kentucky Gold, that's sold in the dark corners of America's cities. And this Gran Legacy CVS private label brand. Get it together, man. No one cares. You're making videos no one cares about. This I realize. I'm not trying to accomplish any great quest. You say, what are you trying to accomplish? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Where do I go? Who do I turn to? What do I do? Well, I'm going to practice more because I can't nail this thing down. Maybe, just maybe. This have a little coffee taste. Maybe the real answer is that the Gran Legacy is so nothing that it is not going to taste better or worse or differentiated from all the other dreck that I'm parading out here on these Stormbusters. And that's a good guess. It could be that. And if you told me, look, I don't watch your bottom shelf taste challenges, I don't watch. All right, now if you did Johnny Walker Black Double Black versus Chivas Regal Extra, then I would watch it. It'd be something, or a 12 year, be something, not the 12 year, the like super hyped up. I understand that. I plan to get there. Might be 80 years old, but I plan to get there to doing higher grade. I just was climbing the ladder. Only problem is there's so many rungs of the ladder that are at the $5, $6, $7, $8 range. It's like it's almost like you're on a treadmill in a hamster cage. You think you're making progress, but you're not getting anywhere. Actually, every criticism that people make, I don't argue with generally because I agree with it. Generally, I said not necessarily always, because you get some of the real troublemakers. They're not criticizing, it is an attack mode. And they'll say, they feel like they need to tell me 30 days a month, I don't like your channel, you stink. Well, you don't have to tell me but once. I believe it. I believe you. You don't have to keep telling me. So then I don't interact with them because there's no point to what they're telling me. It's like telling me the sun is in the sky. We know this. The sun is in the sky. All right. So, grain alcohol. Oh, I got to say one thing. Heaven Hill can really give you a strong grain alcohol hit. You say, but the quality. Right. And it isn't here. Does Heaven Hill make quality products? Well, yeah, sure. Do they make cheap, what you want to call junky products? Yeah. But the big companies, all our companies do that. Beam, Suntory, Brown-Forman, all of them. All of them make that stuff. You say, well, hey, they got a lot of cheapskates in the world. They got a lot of old bums that want to. Yeah. I know. Would I recommend either one of these? No, and I don't think I ever said I would recommend them. I just said I gave what? The Gran Legacy a B-, like marginally good. I mean, you can make the case that it's marginally good. It has some redeeming qualities, perhaps. And what did I say in my solo video? I said, but if you gave it a C, I wouldn't take exception to it. Now, when you start saying it's a D, it's bad. Nah, I got a little problem with that. These are not objectively bad, I don't think. Like when I taste it, I don't say, oh, that tastes bad. I just say it tastes not that great. All right, so I don't know. I mean, if you want to cruise around and buy these cheap products and then talk about them with me, that's fine, because I'll talk about them. I mean, I do the videos. I can't say anything I can't say too much and make 200 videos a year dealing with this stuff, and then I'm gonna start talking bad about it. No, it wouldn't even make any sense. I'm gonna get through it. I'm gonna do the taste challenge with Gran Legacy and everybody else. T.W. Samuels, Heaven Hill blended. Then all those Sazerac brands, Ancient Age Preferred, Barton American, and that King Square, that's an odd one. Boy, that's an oddball. Let's talk about exotic flavors. And so on. Now, the only one, is there any American blended whiskey that I would really recommend to like actually drink on its own merits? That, instead of making little kind of quasi-sarcastic videos, like throwing shade on them the whole time. Yes, I think Seagram 7 Crown would be that. Seagram 7 Crown is a legitimate product. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's for real. It's not arguably good. It really is good. And it can really battle. I mean, it has great quality. Yeah, and it's also not $6.99 a bottle neither. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to pay $12, $13. About $13 a bottle, and it deserves it because it's way better than this other stuff. And there's never a contest. When I do Seagram 7 Crown against all this other stuff, it always kills it, just blows them out the water, So anyway, I got to go watch the news. Bought my brother a bottle of Maker's Mark yesterday as a gift for a promotion at work. Yeah, that's a legitimate straight bourbon whiskey. I've never had it, but everybody's always saying good things about it, so obviously it's good. All right, thanks, folks. Drunken One says, good morning, sir. Good morning, Drunken One. I'm getting off to go watch the news, y'all. It's starting right now. Go see what they say on the news, and I'll be back hopefully very soon, like actually tomorrow morning. All right, so a tie here. Nobody really wins. It's a draw, and I couldn't even tell them apart. A washout, but no shock, really.